Shall we get started, Mataji, or would you like to wait some time?
Whatever you decide, Mataji.
Okay, we'll start. We can start with the introduction if you're ready, Mataji.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Hare Krishna, welcome all to another session of Bhagavad Gita, 18 chapters in 18 weeks. Thank you all so much for joining us every week. And today we will be discussing, today's the 9th week, and we will be discussing the 9th chapter, the most confidential knowledge. And today's class will be given by Her Grace Kirtida Sundari Mataji. So I hand over the call to you, Mataji. Please take over. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Indulekha Mataji. And thank you everyone for joining us. I'm so much inspired by seeing your presence every week without fail. So really, really grateful to each and every one of you. So we'll start our presentation, and today we'll be doing 9th chapter. Okay, so Bhagavad Gita as it is, 18 chapters in 18 weeks. Okay, so let's start with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. So, before we jump into our chapter number 9, let's see the quick overview of chapter number 8. So, before I start, I would just like to give a disclaimer that today's topic, that is chapter 9, is, it's a little elaborate chapter. So, please forgive me if I cross over 1 hour. And please bear with me, but it is very, very interesting chapter. Trust me, it is the essence of the entire Bhagavad Gita. And as you know, it's right in the middle. We have 18 chapters, and 9th chapter is right in the middle. And really congratulations to all of you, including myself, that we successfully completed the half section of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so let's do the overview of chapter number 8. I'll just go quickly on this because we all know about this thing. So chapter 8, acronym was DEAD, where D stands for doubt, where Arjuna was asking question because in 7th chapter, Krishna threw some beautiful, words, some Sanskrit words in the chapter 7th last 2 verses. And then Arjuna, including all of us, were bewildered that what he is talking all about. And so he was asking, so Arjuna asked these questions. Krishna, you talked about Brahman, Adhyatma, Karma, Adi Bhuta, Adi Deva, Adi Yagna, and Prayana Kale. So what is all this about? And Arjuna asked this question, and our dear Lord Shri Krishna answered it very beautifully. And we discussed that how all these answers were discussed right in first 4 verses. But the Prayana Kale is what the entire chapter number 8 dealt into. And where E stands for end of life, that is Prayana Kale. And there Krishna tells us about what we remember, it matters. And so we should always focus on Krishna. We should always try to remember Krishna. We should always remember this slogan, that never forget Krishna and always remember Krishna. And how we can do that? By chanting, by reading Bhagavad Gita, which is the song of the Supreme Lord, and by serving the Lord and his pure devotees. So that was E section, and A section is Attaining the Supreme, which is the chapter entitled, is chapter number 8 entitled is the Attaining the Supreme. How to attain Supreme, then why should we attain Supreme, and then there's a small peek into the Supreme destination. So we all have gone through in this entire section. And last D stands for devotion. And then Krishna discuss about what is the path of light, what is the path of darkness, and does this path really affect the devotees? And that was dealt where Krishna says that actually the path of light is when a person leaves his body in the path of light where the sun is in the northern hemisphere and is Uttarayana, then the person doesn't come back. But if the living entity leaves one's body in the path of darkness, which is the Dakshinayana, when the sun is in the southern hemisphere, then definitely that living entity has to come back to this material world. But then Arjuna asked that how come, it's impossible to decide on these factors. And then Krishna says that for my devotee, it hardly matters in whichever path, they leave their body. So this was the entire chapter number 8. And now we'll come to this chapter number 9. And chapter number 9, the chapter entitled is The Most Confidential Knowledge. So before we go into the acronym of it, I would just want to give you a brief gist about what is this confidential knowledge all about. So as already mentioned that in the previous chapter, Krishna mentioned that a pure devotee, when he's solely fixed on performing his Ananya Bhakti unto him, it doesn't matter, if he surpasses the path of light and darkness. It doesn't matter at what time he leaves his body. And now in this chapter 9, which is the most confidential knowledge, Krishna is going to explain how to become a pure devotee, how to become his Ananya Bhakta. So itself, it's so exciting because we all are here because we want to become a devotee of Krishna. We want to become his Ananya Bhakta. And Krishna is going to reveal everything in this chapter. So that's why this chapter is confidential knowledge. So now someone can ask that, well, this knowledge is available to anyone and everyone via the medium of Bhagavad Gita, because we go door to door, we go home to home, and we distribute this Bhagavad Gita freely. So how come this knowledge is now entitled as confidential? Because everyone has freely access to it. Everyone can read it on their own. So how come still this knowledge is entitled as confidential knowledge? So there are reasons for it. So the first reason is that our acharyas give is that this knowledge is hidden in all the 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Exactly the middle chapter, just as the pearl is hidden in the oyster. So you can see the picture also. There is a small pearl and it is hidden in the shell, right? Both the bottom there is a shell and up top there is a shell, and in between there is a pearl. So pearl is hidden. So we also have this tendency, that we always try to hide our valuables and we want to keep it in the safe place, keep them confidential. So similarly, Krishna also hides this knowledge in the pages of Bhagavad Gita. And in this chapter, Krishna is explaining how to become pure devotee, Ananya Bhakta. Now, if someone becomes the pure devotee of Krishna, then Krishna naturally becomes the sold out servant to that devotee. And Krishna is very, smart. He doesn't want to sell himself to anyone and everyone. So he says, "Oh Arjuna, now I will explain you this most confidential knowledge by which you can achieve me, by which you can buy me, by which you can serve me, by which I can be a subservient to you." And that's why this knowledge is confidential, because Krishna doesn't want to become subservient to anyone. And second reason, that yes, by the medium of Bhagavad Gita, anyone and everyone has the access to it and to read this chapter 9. But understanding and getting this confidential knowledge, even after reading, is not possible, because this is not a material mundane knowledge. This is transcendental knowledge which only gets revealed in the heart of a pure devotee. See, material knowledge you can gain anywhere. You can go to college, schools, universities, and you can get this material knowledge. But for this spiritual knowledge, it has to be revealed in the heart of a devotee. And how can that be done? By the medium of parampara. So therefore this knowledge is also known as confidential knowledge. So these were the two basic reasons that I want to bring forward. Am I there, or I have been signed out?
You're good, Mataji. We can
Oh,
still hear you.
okay, perfect. Okay, so let's see the acronym now. So the acronym of this chapter is KING, where K stands for knowledge, that deals in verses number 1 to 3, I for inconceivable, 4 to 10, N is for non-worshippers, verses 11 to 25, and G stands for glories of bhakti, that is verses number 26 to 34. So just remember that the acronym is KING. Now, just as the pearl is hidden within the shell, so we see that even the king, when he travels, he is always surrounded by his entourage. Similarly, the essence of Bhagavad Gita, as I mentioned earlier, the essence of Bhagavad Gita is hidden in this middle of the entire conversation between Arjuna and Krishna. So in this chapter, Krishna outlines the king of all knowledge and the most secret of all secrets. So therefore, this topic, the acronym is KING. Now let's go further and see. The K stands for knowledge. Yes. So now we'll see that what this knowledge is all about. So in this section, we'll see that what is the qualification of a recipient to receive this knowledge, what is the nature of this knowledge, and finally, what is the result of acquiring this knowledge. So three things we'll see. We'll see the qualification, we'll see the result, and we'll see the nature of this knowledge. So let's see the first verse, that is 9.1, which describes the qualification of a recipient. Shri Bhagavan Vacha idam tu te guyatamam pravikshami anusave jnanam vijnanam sahitam yatnatva mokshase shubhat. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, it is very, very important. Anasuyave means non-envious. One has to be free from envy. Because Arjuna was non-envious, hence he was the perfect candidate to receive this knowledge. And then Krishna says, Guhyatamam, Now we'll just go into this. What is this Guhya Tamam? So Guhya actually means secret, right? Now why Tamam? Because in English you must have come across there are 3 degrees, right? The positive, this comparative, and the superlative degree. So similarly in Sanskrit also, the word is actually Guhyam, which is secret. But it is, when it is little more secret or confidential, it is known as Guhyatara, which is a comparative degree. But when it has to be extremely confidential, then the superlative degree of the Sanskrit term is used, and that is Guhyatamam, right? So he is saying, Idam te ute Guhyatamam. I am giving you this extremely confidential knowledge. Pravikshami. Pravikshami means I myself is speaking. Why? Because you are anasuyave, because you are non-envious. So this is the very first qualification that one should have, that one should be non-envious in order to receive this knowledge. And then he says, Jnanam Vijnanam Sahitam. And I'm not going to give you just the knowledge. Jnana is just the knowledge. But I'm going to give you the Vijnana. I'm going to give you the wisdom. The realized knowledge I'm going to share with you. Yat Gyatva Mokshate Shubhat. And then he gives the effect, the result. And what is the effect? That you shall be relieved of all the miseries of this material existence. So the qualification is that one has to be non-envious, and the result of this knowledge is that one becomes free from this miseries of material existence. And then in the third verse, I'm skipping the second verse, then the third verse also Krishna tells us that, Krishna tells, who cannot receive this knowledge. And then what is the result? Those who are not faithful. Now, see, the qualification is that you have to be non-envious. But he's also giving the non-part, that if you are not faithful, means if you are faithless, then you cannot attain this devotional service. And then what will be the result? Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. So see, two things have already been described. We talked about the qualification, the nature, and the result. So we have skipped the nature part right now. We have dealt with the qualification and the result. The qualification is that you have to become non-envious. Only then you will be able to receive this knowledge. And the result will be that you will be free from material miseries. But the non-qualification is that if you are faithless, then you are not entitled to get this knowledge at any cost. And then what is the result? That you will be entangled in this path of this cycle of birth and death. You cannot come out. See, faith is very, very important to progress in Krishna consciousness. Those who are envious and faithless, they cannot understand Krishna, they cannot understand the knowledge of his devotional service, and their destination is that they have to come back. They are entangled in this repeated path of birth and death. So what is this faith? So faith is actually having the complete conviction that simply by serving the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, one can achieve all perfection. Now, this is not what I am saying. This is directly from Srila Prabhupada's purport, that faith is the complete conviction that simply serving the Supreme Lord Krishna, one can achieve all perfection. Now, one can ask that, how can I develop that faith? How can that be created? Then Prabhupada mentions this also, that simply by the association of advanced, sincere, and dedicated devotees, you can get all perfection. And you can get this, the faith. So we can easily relate to this because, last year and in the previous months also in this year, we have seen that there was so much of coronavirus, the COVID was there. So it has always been instructed that, maintain the safe distance because you will get COVID if you come into the contact of a person who is COVID positive. So when a mere disease can be transferred, then what to talk about this transcendental knowledge? This transcendental knowledge is from heart to heart, right? So if you associate with those who are really keen into Krishna consciousness, who understands Krishna, who understands this knowledge of devotional service of Krishna, then definitely this is contagious. This is extremely contagious, much more than what is COVID positive. This COVID diseases. So try to be in close association, only that then, simply by getting this, being in the close association of such devotees, one can develop that faith. And through that faith, Krishna says that yes, if you are faithful, if you are non-envious, then yes, you can easily understand this knowledge. So now that was the qualification and the result. And now we'll talk about the nature of this knowledge. Yes, this knowledge is topmost secret. It is extremely confidential. And Krishna says, Rajavidya Rajaguyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Pratikshva Agaman Dharmyam Susukham Kartuvavayam. Very, very beautiful verse. And we will go deep into this verse. We'll go very deep into this verse because this is the summum bonum of this entire chapter. Okay, so we'll go word by word. Actually, I'll just read the translation. That this knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secret. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perfection of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and it is joyfully performed. I'm pretty sure if you have come across this verse first time, then you would have not understood it fully, because that's what happened with me also. But now let's go deep into each and every word and it will be crystal clear. Hopefully I can do some justice. So let's go. So Raj Vidya, yes, it is the king of all education. So we have already discussed about this, that because it is the essence of the entire philosophies, therefore it is the king. It is the Raja Vidya. It is the king of all knowledge. And what is this knowledge? Is devotional service, right? Doing devotional service unto Krishna. This knowledge only, that what Krishna is talking about, is the king of all knowledge. Then he says Raja Guhyam, right? Sorry. Then he says Rajaguhyam, it is the king of all secrets, and that we have discussed. While we were discussing about the confidentiality of this chapter, we discussed that why it is the king of all secrets, and why Krishna says that this is Rajaguhyam, this is the king of all secrets. Now the third is says Pavitram Idam, it is the purest of all. Now in this section, we'll go into deep. Yes, it is the purest of entire austerities that one can perform. The purifying potency of devotional service is very strong, extremely strong. How and what does it purify? That we will see. So normally, the question is asked that if Krishna is so kind, then why there is suffering? Why there is suffering all over? Why good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people? Normally, this general question is asked. But then the answer lies in this, that suffering is because of our sinful reactions. We have to understand this key point, that suffering is because of our own sinful reactions. We committed some sinful actions because of which some reactions are there, and therefore we are suffering. So Krishna is still kind. Krishna is still kind. The only thing is that we cannot connect our suffering to Krishna. There is no relation, right? So we ourselves are entitled to bear the entire consequences. Now that doesn't mean that today if I commit any sinful act, then immediately tomorrow I will get the reaction. It may or it may not happen. But ultimately, the point is that we have to bear the consequences of our actions. Now here the analogy is given. Very beautiful analogy. Seed. Just as you sow a seed, then what happened? Do you find the tree appear immediately? No, it takes some time. So first of all, a small sprouting plant comes, right? A small sprouting plant comes from that seed. And then what happened? And then the sprout, increases. There are few leaves that comes in. See the process. It's taking its own time. And then we have the huge tree that is being grown up. But then it doesn't stop. After that, we have flowers that's coming out. The tree started bearing some flowers. And finally, those flowers are converted into fruits, right? So then fruits come out. So this is what happened with us also. So when the flower comes out, then the person is entitled to taste those flower or to enjoy that flower, right? So for a person who has sown the seed, only then he is entitled to enjoy the fruits of his actions, right? Similarly, a man performs a sinful act, and it's just like sowing a seed, and it will take time. It will take time to fructify. Action is like a seed, and our reaction is like a fruit. So there is a time gap. There is a time gap between the seed, and there is a time gap between the seed becoming a tree and finally bearing a fruit. So those who are in ignorance, they are not in this complete knowledge, and they don't know what's happening. So whatever challenging and whatever suffering they are facing today actually is the reactions of their own actions, but they don't come to that understanding, right? They don't understand that whatever reactions today I'm facing, it's because of my own actions, my own seed that I've sown long back. The seeds were planted long back, but now those seeds are fructifying and they are becoming a tree, and finally the fruits are coming. And so I am entitled to bear those fruits, whether that fruit is poisonous or whether that fruit is extremely sweet. It's mine. I have to taste it. I have to bear it. Krishna is not to be blamed. There are some actions that gives very quick result, but there are some actions that take a whole lot of time for the reaction to manifest. Now, why I was saying all this, just to explain that how devotional service is purest, right? Because for those who are engaged in this process of devotional service, all the sinful reactions, whether it can be in the seed form, whether it can be in the fructified form, whether it can be in the flower form, everything gradually vanishes. Everything vanishes when one come to this platform of performing devotional service. Therefore, I was saying that, I was mentioning as per Krishna that how this knowledge is pavitram. It is purifying. It is purifying because it purifies us from all our sinful reactions. Okay, so I hope that was clear. But still, I'll just go into this small chart, try to understand. Let's see, in the past, we performed some pious acts, okay? And we also performed some sinful acts. Now, this is all in the past. Now, because of this pious acts, I got some happiness in the present. And because of some sinful acts, I got some suffering in this present. So it's all because of me, right? Nobody is to be blamed. It's all because of me. I acted and I'm ready to bear the consequence. But in present, again, what is happening is that we are performing some more pious acts and we are performing some more sinful acts. So definitely in future also, we are entitled to bear this happiness and we are entitled to bear this suffering. So this cycle goes on and on and on. Where it can be stopped? When we perform devotional service. Because as we read in the third chapter, right, that we have to do all karma activities, the activities which we dedicated to Krishna, where we are not entitled to get any reactions of our actions, and that this cycle can be stopped when we have the perfect knowledge, because thus everything begins with ignorance. If we are in this avidya, then we try to blame others or blame Krishna. But when we are in knowledge, we are ready to bear everything. And when we know that our past is determining our present, so definitely our future will be dependent on our present. So why not make our present to be 100% Krishna conscious so that we can secure our future? Getting this point? See, the past, because our present is determined what we did in the past. And if we are into this knowledge that my present is because of my past, is the aggregate sum total of what I did in the past, then I'm pretty sure that whatever I'm doing will determine my future also. So let me save my future. Let me secure my future. Let me make my future Krishna consciousness. And that can only be possible when I make my present Krishna conscious. So if I'm 100% conscious of Krishna in this present stage, then definitely I'm saving and securing my future. So this is the learning that we get. So anyway, I hope that's clear. It's very, very important point. It's actually the basis of Krishna consciousness, that we are not supposed to blame Krishna for anything that is happening in our life. It is all because of us. It is all because of me. I am the responsible person for all reactions that I am bearing. Okay, so pavitram idam, then comes uttamam, that it is transcendental to the darkness of the material world. So tamas means darkness, and uttamam means that which is transcendental to this material activities. So devotional service is never contaminated by any modes. We have three modes: mode of passion, ignorance, and goodness. But devotional service, whatever we do, is not contaminated by the modes. Therefore, it is transcendental. It is uttamam. It is not under the jurisdiction of this material contamination or material conditioning. Then pratyakshavagamam means it gives direct experience of the self by realization. You perform devotional service and immediately you'll get some realizations. Immediately you'll get some experience on the self, of self-realization. And then one comes to this understanding that what is my position? What is my constitutional position? And my constitutional position is that I am Krishna's servant. I am the eternal servant of Lord Krishna. And how one can come to that understanding? By doing devotional service. That is by process of chanting. One realized one's eternal relationship with Krishna, hence one's advance spiritually. So this is Pratyaksha Vagaman. You don't need any outsider to tell you that what is happening. You will feel that transformation in your heart. That change of the shift of consciousness is there in the heart. It automatically comes when one performs this devotional service. So that's the nature of this devotional service. Then dharmyam, this is perfection of all religion. Yes, devotional service is the highest goal of everything. It is the highest of all religion. Savai pumsam paradharmo yato bhakti radhokshaja. It is the paradharma. Parodharma means beyond this any religion of this material world. And what is that? Yato bhaktir adhokshaja. When we serve the Supreme Lord adhokshaja, and that is the highest religion. So it is dharmyam. And then it says susukham kartam avayam. It is very easily, susukham, very easily and joyfully performed. This is the nature of this knowledge, that this knowledge is very joyfully performed. Why it is so blissful? Because there is some positive engagement of our senses. And we just have to do what? Chanting, dancing, and feasting. That's all. You can see in this picture how these ladies, they are dancing in front of Rath Yatra. You know, it's not that hard. You don't have to sit in meditation for hours and hours and hours and trying to bring your mind and focusing and, you know, doing that hard labor. No, it's so sukham kartu avayam, that you have to simply perform, and it's so simple to do it. Just, you know, dedicate all your services to Krishna. Just chant for Krishna, dance for Krishna. If you're fond of eating, then eat only Krishna prasadam. If you're fond of singing, then don't sing mundane songs, but just sing Krishna bhajans. It's so sukham, right? And then finally, the last is avayam, that it is everlasting or eternal. It's not that I'm performing this devotional service right now, and when I go back to the spiritual world, I'm done, I'm finished with it. No, it is avayam, it is eternal. Because there also we'll be doing the same thing. We'll be dancing with Krishna, we'll be feasting with Krishna, we'll be chanting Krishna's glories. So it is avayam, it is everlasting, and it is eternal. See, devotional service, our sadhya and our sadhana, it's the same. Our sadhana is that yes, we chant Krishna's glories, we taste Krishna prasadam, we dance for Krishna, we sing for Krishna, and our goal, our sadhya, our goal is also the same. It's not that, you know, we want to merge or we want to, you know, or see some light. No, our goal is also the same, that we want to chant for Krishna, because when we go back home to Godhead, then also we'll be doing the same. We'll be feasting with Krishna, and we'll be chanting his glories, and we will be dancing for him. So it is avayam. So just see, it compiles the whole words. Rajavidya Rajaguyam Pavitramidam Uttamam Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartum Avayam. So each and every word we have dealt into it, so that we know that what is the nature of this knowledge, which is very, very important to understand. Finally, we'll come to the life lesson of this section, which is that although bhakti is so joyful, the faithless and envious people do not perform bhakti and are thus deprived of the supreme goal. They are deprived because the ultimate goal is to reach God. But because of that faithlessness that they have, because of the animosity that they have towards Krishna, they are deprived of performing this devotional service. And because they are deprived, they cannot achieve their supreme goal. And next life lesson, which is very, very important, is we reap what we sow. So this we have to remember all the time, that what we reap, so shall we sow. Is nobody has to be blamed. Okay, so now we'll go to our I, that is inconceivable Lord. Remember, the acronym was KING, where K stands for knowledge and I stands for inconceivable Lord. Okay, so inconceivable. In this section, actually, Krishna will give his Aishwarya Gyan. He'll give about his opulences, that who he is, what is his relationship of this with this material world. So what is the meaning of inconceivable? In Sanskrit it is said achintya, right? Achintya. So it's inconceivable. You must have come across the word conceive or conception, right? So idea, if we have some idea that is conceived within the mind, right? We say that my idea conceived in my mind. A child is conceived within the womb of a mother. So in other words, a concept is conceived within some boundaries, within something, right? Whereas Lord's qualities, Lord's opulences, his characteristics are such that they cannot be contained in any boundaries. Therefore, it is said inconceivable. Krishna's glories are inconceivable. You cannot conceive, you cannot perceive through your material senses because they are not of this material world. They are beyond this material world. They cannot be contained in any kind of boundary. So therefore, it is beyond our perception, and therefore it is known as inconceivable. So now Krishna, after giving this, telling about this inconceivable Lord, he will give his Aishwarya Gyan, he will give his relationship with material nature. So in this regard, we will see three things: that how Krishna maintains this material world, how Krishna creates this material world through his energies, and how the destruction happen, that too by Krishna's energies. Okay, so first we'll go to the maintenance section. Yes, Krishna in 9.4 he says that maintenance about his material nature. Maya tamam idam sarvam jagat avyaktamurtina matsthani sarva bhutani nachaham teshvavastitaha. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. So here Krishna gives, this is what is inconceivable. To understand, how Krishna is in everything, but still he is not, So this is what is inconceivable nature of Krishna. So Krishna himself makes this contradictory statement that although everything is situated in Krishna, but still Krishna is aloof, is independent of everything. Krishna is everywhere, everything is in him, but still he is aloof. So I'll give you the example to understand this, how it's possible. So just as the king, he leads the government. So he has different governmental heads: health department, finance department, home department, medical department. So there are so many departments, right? So each department has its own departmental heads, right? And all those departmental heads, they are acting because of Krishna's power. Because of king's power, right? Because of the king's power only, all these departmental heads are acting. But still, one cannot expect king to be present in every department and dealing it so minutely. It's not possible because king has made the departmental heads. Now the departmental heads will work on their specific department, but at the same time that departmental head is working under the direction of the king. Similarly, Krishna maintains everything. Everything is resting on Krishna's energy, but Krishna himself is aloof from everything. Another example, as the picture is shown, that how this little child is smelling the flower, right? So this is the example that Prabhupada gives, that when there is a fragrant flower, a very fragrant flower, and you bring it in front of someone, that fragrance that is coming is touched by the smelling power of the person. Yet the smelling and the power, they are the person, the smelling and that the flower, they are detached from one another. Similarly, there is a connection. Yes, there is a connection between this material world and the Supreme Lord. Yet the Supreme Lord has nothing to do with this material nature. He is detached from all the material activities, but he guides, he supervises everything. So this is how Krishna maintains. Okay, I just have, sorry. As per the verse 9.4, the last part says, I am not in them, but He, Krishna, is inside of all of us. Can you please correct my understanding if it's wrong? Very beautiful point, Jayesh Prabhu. That yes, Krishna is there in the heart of all of us as Paramatma. But does He forces us for anything? No. What He is doing? He is just sanctioning what we are doing and He is supervising. He is not intervening. That's the point that I was telling, that Krishna himself doesn't, just like the king, doesn't minutely go and supervises all the departments. He has the departmental head for the head to supervise the department. He himself doesn't intervene, though everything is because of that king's position. Similarly, Krishna is there. Krishna is in the heart of everybody as Paramatma. But there, what its job is? Its job is to sanction whatever we are doing. Krishna says, okay, you want to steal? Go ahead. You want to tell lie? Go ahead. I am not going to stop you because I am just sitting here as a sanctioner and also as a supervisor. I'm going to supervise whatever you are doing. I'm going to supervise everything, but I'm not going to intervene. So Krishna is aloof. Even sitting as Paramatma in the heart of everybody, Krishna is aloof. But now when we come to that understanding, then we tell Krishna, oh Krishna, now I acknowledge your presence in my heart. I know you are there in my heart. Till now, I have been enjoying the fruits of all my activities, but now I have turned my face towards you. Oh Krishna, please come and guide me and be the charioteer of my life. Then Krishna intervenes. Before that, he is aloof, right? He is aloof to everything. So I hope you got the answer. Okay, so let's move on. Next is destruction. Destruction of this material nature also happens because of Krishna's energies. We know that at the time of destruction, that is end of Brahma's life, which is 100 years, all living beings enter into my energy. That is Krishna's energy, Prakriti, which is composed of the three modes. At the beginning of another creation, I create them again. So that's what Krishna is saying, that destruction happens and then everything comes and resides in the body of Mahavishnu, and then another creation happens. Under my will, with my energy, the whole cosmic order is manifested again and again, and it is destroyed at the end. So this is the ongoing process that happens. Like last time when we discussed, we were discussing that how Karnodakshaya Vishnu exhales, everything comes into being. And when he inhales, everything goes into him, right? So this is how the creation happens, and this is how the destruction happens. And Krishna is the in charge of everything. And then the creation, yes, creation also, very important verse. Mayadhakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. Krishna says, Mayadhakshena, I am the Adhyaksh. And what is the meaning of Adhyaksh? Superintendent. I am the principal. I am the supervisor. So everything is working under my direction. Mayadhyakshena prakriti. I am the superintendent of entire energy that exists. All the energies are working under my direction. Suyate sacharacharam, whether it may be a moving or a non-moving, but everything is supervised under my supervision, and under its rule, its manifestation is created and is annihilated again and again. Just like the potter wheel, he makes the pot and at his own will he destroys the pot. But again, on the wheel of that pot, again the pot is created, and at his supreme will the pot is destroyed. So as same with Krishna, all this entire manifestation comes into existence and it goes back. The total annihilation happens. So this is how Krishna tells Arjuna that everything is happening under my direction. Everything is happening in my direction. I am the supreme cause of all causes. Right? Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadir Adir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam, that I am the cause of all causes. That's what Krishna is explaining. So what's the life lesson? That Lord is unlimited, but we jivas are limited. We are limited, but the Lord is unlimited. So this is the life lesson that we have to understand. So no more comparing ourselves with the Lord. Yes, qualitatively we are one with the Lord. We have the same qualities, but quantitatively we are totally different. It's just example is given, a drop in the ocean. You know, the chemical properties of an ocean, the water in the ocean is same as the chemical property of the drop of that ocean, the water droplet of that ocean. The chemical qualities may be the same, but the drop is a drop and ocean is ocean. So similarly, we jivas are very, very limited, while Lord is unlimited. Okay, so with that we completed our two sections, that is K for knowledge and I for inconceivable. Now we comes to our next section, that is N, non-worshippers. N stands for non-worshippers. Yes, there's probably no God. Now stop worrying and enjoy your life. So this is what the context is, that people who do not worship the Supreme Lord, their philosophy is that life is like an ice cream, enjoy it before it melts, right? But the philosophy of a devotee is that life is like a candle, light it and lighten the entire world before it melts, right? So anyways, okay, I'm seeing few questions. If Super Soul is present in our subtle body, if so, then he is witnessing our sufferings and enjoyment in other lokas also. In our gross body, Super Soul is in our heart, then in our subtle body. I mean, subtle body is made up of Mano, Buddhi and Ahankar, yes. Then he is witnessing our sufferings and enjoyment in other lokas also. Yes, to whichever loka we are going, whether we are in the Jana loka, Pataloka, or any higher planetary system, lower planetary system, middle planetary system, whether in the animal body, in the insect body, in a reptile body, or in a human form, Krishna is there with us every time. Krishna is there within our heart, and he is witnessing everything. He is witnessing our sufferings, he is witnessing our enjoyments, but he doesn't interfere. He doesn't interfere with us. Okay. So I hope that helps, Rajeshwari Mataji. But if there is any further question, we can take it later after the section, if you don't mind. And right now we'll just go ahead with the third section, which is non-worshippers. Yes, there is probably no God, and now stop worrying and enjoy your life. So this is their philosophy, that there is no God at all. So even after Krishna explaining the opulences and the qualities of his personal form, there are many who misunderstands him, who doesn't agree that supremacy of Krishna, the sweetness of Krishna, the personal form of Krishna. They don't agree. Krishna is establishing so many points here, but still there are few categories of people who do not agree to this point, and they are categorized under this section of non-worshippers. So let's see. The first is fools or impersonalists. As Prabhupada, actually Krishna says Muda, right? And Prabhupada always says, don't be a Muda, don't be a fool. Just try to understand. This Bhagavad Gita is given to us. So let's not be ignorant. Let's not behave like fools. And let's, understand and be smart, be intelligent. So fools or impersonalists. And in that, Krishna quotes this verse 9.11, Avajananti ma mudha manushyam tanumashritam param bhavam ajanato mama bhuta maheshwaram. What he says, that fools deride me, avajananti ma mudha. Why? Because manushyam tanumashritam, because I have taken the shelter of this human-like form, so they consider me as a human being, as an ordinary human being, and they deride me. They don't understand my transcendental nature. That is Mudha. That is what is avajananti mamuda, because they consider that because Krishna has appeared in a human-like form, so they deem him to be an ordinary human being, and therefore they are known as duratmas or fools. And what is their destination? Their destination is that they are attached by demoniac and atheistic views, and thus always in repeated cycle of birth and death. So these are the first kind of non-worshippers. They are fools, and they are always attracted by the demoniac and atheistic views, and their destination is that they are always in the cycle of repeated birth and death. Why? Because their philosophy is life is an ice cream, enjoy it before it melts. They are least bothered what is about their past karmic reactions, what is about their future life. They just want to be focused in the present and enjoy their life to the fullest, as per their so-called definition of enjoyment, and they are least bothered about the presence of God in their life. This is the first class. Next is the indirect worshippers. So we have those non-worshippers. In this, there are three categories, types of worshippers. First is the fools, and the next is the indirect worshippers. Now, in this, we'll go in little detail. In this category, actually, the three types of indirect worshippers are being described by Krishna. Don't go into the technical terms of it, but try to understand it onto the high level, because this is not some Bhakti Shastri class where you have to go into each and every detail, but we are just giving the overview of this entire chapter. So my suggestion will be that just don't go into the details, but have the understanding that what Krishna is talking about. So he is talking about that indirect worshippers. There are three categories. Then there are three types basically. They worship Krishna, but indirectly, without knowing that actually it's only Krishna whom they are worshipping. They don't understand this. And in that regard, we will have the first types are ekatvena. Ekatvena means worship in oneness, thinking themselves as God. So this is the first type of indirect worshipper, that is ekatvena. They worship himself as one with the Supreme. They understand, they have the right understanding that they are not the material body, they are actually the spirit soul. This place is not worth living, this place is full of miseries. They have this complete understanding. But such people themselves think themselves to be the Supreme Lord. They think, you are also Bhagwan, I am also Bhagwan. You are Narayan, I am Narayan. They have that kind of understanding. And they worship Lord Krishna, or they worship Lord actually in this mentality, where they feel that, after giving up this life, I'm going to merge with the Supreme Lord, so I become God. That's what is their understanding. And they are broadly categorized as Mayavadis. And Prabhupada says, Mayavadi bhashya sune hoy sarvanash. And if we follow their instructions or their philosophy, then our spiritual life will be doomed. They are the lowest, and their destination is that they merge into the Brahman. They are the first type of indirect worshippers. Why they are indirect worshippers? Because what is Brahman? Brahman is ultimately the effulgence of the Supreme Lord. So they want to merge into Brahman, but they want to refute the supremacy of the personal form of Krishna, not understanding that what this Brahman is all about. After all, this Brahman is the effulgence that is coming from Krishna, right? So they are indirect worshippers, but they have their own philosophy, and therefore their destination is that they merge into Brahman. Second is Vishvato Mukham, Vishwarup Upasana. Worship in universal form, that Krishna is everything. I am everything means that Krishna says that they worship me in the universal form, thinking that I am everything. Right? That is their Vishvato Mukham. That is, they accept the universal form, the Virat Roop of the Supreme Lord. They cannot conceive anything which is beyond this material manifestation. So that understanding they have. And the third is Prathakvena, that is Pratikopasana, which is worship in diversity, in many forms as the demigods. So this is Prathakvena. They worship Krishna. They don't worship directly Krishna, but they worship demigods. And we know that how, when we worship demigods, then we aspire for some kind of benediction, right? We aspire for some kind of benediction. Like if somebody wants a beautiful husband, then that lady will go and worship Lord Shiva. But they are not understanding that all these benedictions that is being given by the demigods is actually the sanctioned by Krishna first. Only then these demigods have the power to further benedict someone, right? To further give any kind of blessings to anyone. But they have the power that they get of giving, of benedicting somebody, is coming directly from Krishna. So the worshippers who are worshipping demigods, they don't understand that they are actually worshipping Krishna, but indirectly. Right? So Krishna says actually in verse number 23 that ye api anya devata bhakta yajante shraddhayanvitaha te api mam kave kaunteya yajanti avidhi purvakam. They are worshipping me, O Arjuna, but avidhi purvakam, the wrong way of worshipping Krishna. Those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with full faith actually worship me only, Krishna is saying. O son of Kunti, but they do so in a wrong way. They don't understand that all these demigods, they are benedicting this person, but actually everything is coming from Krishna. Everything is coming from Krishna. These demigods are also able to benedict because the power is coming from Krishna. They are not able to understand that. Right? So they worship Krishna in avidhi purvakam. And therefore, it says that their destination is, what is their destination? That they attain, they take birth in some pious heavenly planet of Indra, where they enjoy godly delights. And after exhausting the results of their pious activity, they return home back to their mortal planet again. So there is repeated birth and death. They don't understand this. It's just like you have some money in your account, you go to some Hawaii, you go to Switzerland, you spend the entire money, enjoy your life, but again come back to your home place where again you have to work in order to gain some more money, right? So that's what happened, that they go to higher loka, they go to that heavenly planets, they enjoy life to the fullest, but again when everything is finished off, everything is exhausted, their piety is exhausted, then they come back to this mortal world again, take birth, and again get entangled into the repeated cycle of birth and death. So Krishna says, yes, they all worship me, but they are indirect worshippers. But then we have the third category, right? So we did this third category, types of worshippers. We did about fools, we did about indirect worshippers, but they are Mahatmas and there are Ananya Bhaktas. This is the third category where Krishna says that they worship me. And in this Krishna regards, the Krishna says, Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritim ashrita bhajanti ananya manaso jnanatva bhutadim avyayam. That, O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of my divine nature. They are daivim prakritim ashrita. Right? So Krishna has broadly two energies. One is Yoga Maya, which is the material energy, and one is Krishna has two broadly categorized two energies. One is Yoga Maya, which is Krishna's direct energy, internal energy, right? And Mahamaya, which is Krishna's external energy. So we all conditioned living entities are always under the direction of Mahamaya, which is Krishna's external energy, right? And this Mahamaya actually creates all the illusion where which we get entrapped and we start thinking that I am the doer, let me enjoy, this is the happiness. All that illusion comes in. And because she puts us into illusion, she is also known as illusory energy of Krishna. You might have come across in Prabhupada's purports. Prabhupada always mentions illusory energy of Krishna. It's not that the energy is illusory, because it brings our jivas into illusion. It puts jivas into illusion. Therefore, she is categorized as illusory energy, which is Mahamaya. But there are bhaktas, there are devotees of Krishna, who are under Devim Prakriti Mashrita. They are under the shelter of Krishna's internal energy, that is Yogamaya. Prabhupada gives the example that how Mother Yashoda, when she saw Krishna eating, when the complaint goes that your Kanha has eaten dirt, and Mother Yashoda says, "Why, Kanha? You have got so much of butter, ghee, and yogurt to eat, and sweet meats to eat. Why you are eating dirt?" And Krishna says, "No, I didn't eat anything. They all are telling lie. You yourself can look into my mouth." And then Krishna says, "Okay." Oh, Mother Yashoda says, "Okay, I don't trust you. Just open your mouth. I want to see." And as soon as Krishna opens his mouth, then Mother Yashoda sees that, oh, the entire universal form she sees in the mouth of Krishna. And she sees herself also in the mouth of Krishna. So she gets bewildered and she thinks that, oh, maybe my son is the Supreme Lord. And then Krishna thinks, oh, my mother will not behave like a mother now. If she gets into this idea that I am the Supreme Lord, then she'll not chastise me. And I have come here to take chastisement of my mother, because I have come here to develop that relationship with my mother. So if she comes to this understanding that I am the Supreme Lord, then I'll not have that loving relationship with it. So immediately she was put into Daivim Prakritim Ashraya. She was immediately put into this Yoga Maya, where she forgets that she has seen the whole universal form in the mouth of Krishna, and she again hugs her little child. So this is what, Prabhupada explains, that all the Ananya Bhaktas, these Mahatmas, they are always under Daivim Prakriti Ashrita. They are directly situated under the protection of his divine nature. Maybe somebody can mute. I'm hearing some background noise. Yeah, and Ananya Bhaktas, they do not divert their attention. Okay, sorry. So they are not diverted with their attention. They have one pointed attention, that Krishna is the original supreme person. And then Krishna describes the furthermore qualifications, the symptoms of Mahatmas. And this is very, very important. Satatam kirtanayanto mam yatantascha dridhavrataha namasyantascha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. Satatam kirtanoyam. They always chant my glories with dridhavrata, endeavoring with great determination. Namasyantas, they always bow down before me with great me, and these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. Nitya yukta upasate. So these are the further symptoms that is being described. Always engage in chanting the glories of the Lord, endeavoring with determination, by following all the rules and regulations that is being given to us by our previous acharyas, always bowing down before Krishna and perpetually worshipping Krishna with devotion, meaning engaging all our mentally, bodily, vocal functions in the service of the Lord. And that can only possible when we chant, when we sing his glories, when we dance in Kirtan, when we do congregational Sankirtan. That is what is being explained here. Satatam Kirtanayanto. So if we want to be broadly categorized under the section of devotee, then we should have this thing in our mind that constantly 24/7, we should chant Krishna's glories. We should do Satatam Kirtan. Sankirtan, we should always either chant congregationally, we should do our own japa, or we should just keep on, if we are not able to do japa, if we are doing some household chores or some other 9 to 5 job, then non-stop, our tongue should vibrate with Krishna's names, Krishna's holy names, because Krishna and his holy names, they are non-different, right? So always chant his glories with great determination. This is also very, very important, that dridhavrata, we should have that determination to chant fixed number of rounds every day and with determination, and then worship him with devotion. So this is the types of worshippers. And then Krishna says that I reciprocate with these devotees. And then Krishna says this very beautiful verse, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana parupasate tesham nityabhyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. But those who are always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, of to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. So this is the reciprocation of Krishna, that he says that those who directly worship me achieves complete perfection, protection. How? Ananya, having no other objects. Chintayanta, they are totally concentrated. On whom? Mam, on me. And those jana, those persons, parupasate, they always properly worship me. And then what I do? Tesham abhiyuktanam. I give, they are fixed in devotion, and then yogakshemam vahamyam. I give them entire protection and I preserve what they have and I carry what they lack. In this regard, as you can see the picture, there is one person, Arjunacharya. So he was a Brahmin. I'll just tell you briefly the whole narration that he was a Brahmin and he was with his wife, and he used to sustain his livelihood by going to door begging some alms. And this is how he would go for his livelihood. And he was also writing some commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. So one day, what happened? He was writing the commentary on Bhagavad Gita and he came on to this shloka. And as soon as he started reading this shloka, he came to this last line, Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. There Krishna says that I carry what my devotee lack and I preserve what they have. So this Arjunacharya started thinking, well, Krishna says Vahamyaham, that I personally do. Well, this doesn't sound. Why Krishna has to personally come? He can do through various medium, right? So why he personally have to come? Well, I don't agree to it. And what he did, he made a red cross on this Vahamyaham. And he said, well, Krishna can carry what we lack. Krishna can preserve what we have, but through his agencies. Why personally he has to come? So he didn't agree to this point and he put a cross on it. And then after that, he went for begging alms. And that day, what happened? Because he was busy writing this commentary, so he became late while going and begging. So unfortunately, he didn't get any alms. And he was very despondent now that I have to go to my wife empty handed and she might be hungry, even I am hungry. Anyways, so he was thinking in this way. And in the meantime, his wife, she was at home, and two boys, young boys, they came with the whole loads of fruits, vegetables, all the groceries, and they brought and they handed over to Arjunacharya's wife. And the wife said, you are so sweet. How come you are here? Who told you? Who have sent you? And then they said, your husband has sent us. He is our teacher. We are his disciples. And he is very cruel. He beat us if we don't follow his instructions. And he has sent us. And we are such a small little boys. And he gave this heavy load to us to carry to your place. And, now we are totally exhausted. And now we have to leave before he comes. Otherwise, he'll again beat us. And then the wife was saying, what? My husband is beating you? He's such a simple person and he doesn't do all these things. And then as soon as the boy, the bluish color boy, he turned back, that wife saw the big mark, red mark on the back of his body. And she applied some sandalwood paste and she was really repenting on that. Finally, the boys left and Arjunacharya came, and then Arjunacharya was saying, well, I'm so sorry, today I went late and I didn't get any alms. And then she was not even talking to him. And then Arjunacharya said, what happened? Why you are behaving to me like this? And then she said, how can you be so cruel? You are beating your disciples like anything if they don't follow your instructions. And then he said, my disciples? Well, you know that I don't have any so-called disciples. And then she gives the whole narration. And then Arjunacharya started thinking that today morning only he put the cross on the Bhagavad Gita on Vahamyaham. So he just, after his wife gave the description that how the boys were so beautiful, one was white in color, one was bluish black, And immediately Arjunacharya understood, and he went back to Bhagavad Gita to see those red marks that he made. And as soon as he saw, those red marks were not there. And then he understood that yes, they were actually Krishna and Balaram who came to give the whole lot of vegetables and fruits. And then he understood that yes, Krishna says, Vahamyaham, that I carry what my devotees lack and I preserve what they have. And that point he understood. So this is the right reciprocation of Krishna towards his Ananya Bhaktas. So life lesson, we completed the third section, that complete protection comes. Krishna nurtures, Krishna protects, he provides, and he takes away whatever causes blockage. Whatever causes blockage to our spiritual growth, Krishna takes away that and it gives the complete protection. Next life lesson is that all our possessions and our relationships are the long rows of zeros. So many zeros. All this, my wealth, my family, my health, my relatives, my job, my salary, my house, my car, these are all zeros. Why? Because they're all material possessions. But the moment we add Krishna to all these material possessions, it's just like adding 1 to all the zeros. So they are all zeros, but once you add 1, it becomes 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, right? So the value increases. But otherwise, this zero doesn't have any value. So all these material possessions are zero. But the moment we add Krishna to it, that means all these material possessions are now used in Krishna's service, so they become meaningful. And worshipping Krishna, that we should do while pouring water on roots that nourishes the whole plant. We should not go and while nourishing the plant, while watering the plant, we don't go and water each and every leaf or each and every plant, each and every stem or twig. No, we just water the roots. And when we water the roots, the whole plant gets nourished. When we feed the stomach, then the stomach gets satisfied, the whole body gets nourished. Similarly, we should worship Krishna. When we worship Krishna, everything falls in place, right? So this is the life lesson that we have to answer. Finally, moving on to the last part, which is the glories of bhakti, K-I-N-G. G stands for glories of bhakti. So in this glories of bhakti, now Krishna will be telling to encourage all of us and to make the right choices in our life. See, our life is between B and D, A, B, C, D. So B and D, between B and D is C. So B is birth, D is death, and C is the choice. What choice we make. So between the birth and death, every part of our life, we have this choice to make. And Krishna says that we should make the right choice. So how to make the right choice? Krishna will speak the final 9 verses in this chapter, which will help us to become exclusive devotee of Lord Shri Krishna. And then he describes the glories of bhakti. So first glory of bhakti is simplicity, that how it is so simple to perform. And in this, we know we have a very beautiful verse. So I'll just go with this because each and every glory, there is a verse to it. So first it is simplicity, doing everything as an offering to Krishna. Krishna is impartial. Krishna excuses and purifies the imperfect devotee, freedom from miseries, and finally eternal life of happiness. That is the benediction that is being given because of this devotional service. So we'll go into detail because each and every verse is related to this. So first is simplicity, where Krishna says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachyati tadam bhakti uparitam ashnami prayatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion, bhaktya, with love and devotion, a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. So somebody can say, well, the performing of devotional service is too much. No, it is not. It is such a simple process. Krishna is not expecting us the huge amount of finance, some lot of wealth or money or anything. He is just saying that give me a flower, a leaf, a fruit, of water, and I'll accept it, provided we give it with love and devotion. And in this regard, I've shown you there's a picture. This picture is of a Brahmana. So I'll again narrate a very, very small story to it. That there was one Brahma, he was very, very poverty stricken. He has nothing to offer. And Krishna says that you don't have to become rich in order to satisfy me or please me. You can offer anything, a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water. But he has practically nothing to offer. And so he was very, very despondent. And then what happened? He came to know that Krishna is happy with some Manasa Puja also. So what he did in his mind, he started worshipping Krishna. He went to various, in his mind only, he went to all the sacred rivers, he brought a lot of water, he installed the deity of Krishna, he bathed the deity of Krishna, he wiped them, he offered the ornaments, some beautiful garments to the deity. And then what he did, he wants to offer some bhoga also to the deities. And for that regard, he was thinking, I want to prepare some sweet rice for Krishna. So in his mind only, he brought the milk, he brought sugar, he brought rice, and then he made that sweet rice for Krishna. But before offering to Krishna, he was thinking, let me just see that whether it is too hot to serve. And as soon as he dipped, in his mind only, as soon as he dipped his finger in the sweet rice, in the kheer preparation that he made, he immediately came out because he practically burned his finger. So this is what the Manasa Seva is. And Krishna in Golok Vrindavan started laughing, and he basically accepted this Brahmana to his place. He brought back this Brahmana to his eternal abode, because this Brahmana was with determination, with so much faith, with so much love, with so much devotion, he was serving Krishna. So this simplicity, this process is so simple, where Krishna is not at all demanding anything. The only demand that he is making is, give me out of love, give me out of devotion. Whatever you are giving, whether you give a $10 donation or give you $1,000 donation, it doesn't matter. Whatever matter is that you give out of love and devotion, not to be a show off of anything. So it's so simple. Devotional service, doing devotional service is practically very, very simple process. Next is doing everything as an offering. Yat karoshi yadagnashi yat juhoshi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva mamarpanam, where Krishna says that whatever you do, yat karoshi yadashnashi, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or you give away, whatever austerities you perform, do it as an offering to me. So this is what Krishna says, that this bhakti is so simple because you can do anything for me, right? Whatever you do, if you want to eat something, just offer it to me and then eat. So it doesn't become a karmic activity, it becomes a karma activity, it becomes a devotional service, because now you are honoring prasadam. If you find any beautiful flower, think of me that I should go and offer this flower at the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. No, this way, whatever we eat, whatever we do, whatever we give an offering, we give any kind of donation, we should give it out of love and devotion to Krishna, thinking that Krishna is the actually supreme enjoyer of everything. He is a Bhoktaram, right? So we should do everything as an offering to Krishna. Next, he says, Krishna himself says that I am impartial. He says, Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshasya priyaha ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya maitateshu chapyaham, that I envy no one, nor I am partial to anyone, because Krishna is present in the heart of Paramatma, in the heart of atheistic people also, in the heart of demoniac duratmas also. Krishna is present. What to talk about living entities? He is present even in the worm, in the insect. Every living entity has Krishna. So Krishna is impartial. Just like the rain comes, the rain doesn't think whether the raindrop is falling in a gutter or the rainfall is falling in the oyster or the rainfall is falling in the ocean. Rain is simply falling. The mercy of the rays of sunshine is simply coming. Similarly, the mercy of Krishna is for everyone. We are getting free oxygen to breathe. Right now, we can imagine the value of oxygen during this COVID time where the cylinders were, practically thousands of rupees they were being sold. So we can imagine the value of oxygen. And here Krishna is distributing freely to us, even to the atheist, right? And Krishna is there with everybody. So Krishna says, I envy no one. I'm not partial, but he adds this but he says, those who render service unto me in devotion is friend of me and I'm friend to him. So this is also, we can relate to it, that when it comes to our children, we are equal with all the children, right? We say that, all children are equal. But when it comes to our own child, we have a special corner in our heart for that child because it's my child, Why? Because there is a reciprocation. So here Krishna is saying that don't think that I'm partial. It's not about the partiality. It's about the reciprocation. The more we reciprocate, the more Krishna will reciprocate. The more we surrender, Krishna will reciprocate more. So Krishna says that those who render service unto me, I take care of them. I am in them and they are in me. But otherwise, I'm not partial. I'm equal to everyone. So Krishna is impartial. Then Krishna excuses and purifies an imperfect devotee. So don't think that Krishna is holding a stick or a cane in his hand and is ready, okay, and he is just supervising us. Okay, this thing you did wrong, here it is. This thing you did wrong, here it is. No, Krishna is not this. He is just like a loving father who is accepting all the mistakes of a child. Right? Just as the child's mistakes are accepted by the father. But at the same time, the father advises the child that, this time you committed, be careful, because he wants to train his child to be a better citizen, because that child is going to face the entire world in the future. So just to train him, the father sometimes chastises the child, but ultimately it's out of love. It's out of love. So therefore, Krishna also purifies an imperfect devotee. Api cheso duracharo bhajate mamananya bhag sadhureva hi mantavya samyak bhavishyato hi sa. Krishna says that if somebody commits any abominable action, but if he is engaged in my devotional service, he is still to be considered as sadhu, as saintly. Why? Because he is properly situated in his determination. So we should not take undue advantage of this verse. This is talking about the accidental faults that happens, the accidental mistakes, not the deliberate mistakes that we do, not on the strength of committing sinful actions that, okay, holy name can protect me or Krishna can protect me, so I may go on committing all those sinful actions. Well, that's not the case. Here Krishna is talking about some slip, some unintentional slip. There is a difference between falling down and falling away. So when you fall down, when a child falls down on the ground, the child takes the support of the ground itself and then gets up, right? But falling away is when you, like in Krishna consciousness, there might be some fall downs that you are not able to keep up to your vows, or you are, somehow accidentally you break some regulative principles, or you're not able to keep any ekadashi, there may be a fall down, but it's not falling away from Krishna consciousness. That's the difference. So Krishna says that if there is a small fall down, unintentional, some accidental slip, well, I don't consider that. I still consider that person to be saintly. So Krishna excuses and purifies an imperfect devotee. Then freedom from miseries. Shipram bhavati dharmatma sashvacha chantim niggachati kaunteha pratijani name bhakta pranashyati. Yes, Krishna says, oh my son, oh my Arjuna, oh son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. Kauntaya pratijani name bhaktya pranashyati. Why Krishna tells Arjuna to declare? Because Krishna says, well, I am famous. I'm famous in breaking all my promises. So if I make any promise, people will not believe, because I'm very famous in breaking all my vows, all my promises. But if any promise is made by the devotee of Krishna on behalf of Krishna, then Krishna says, I make it possible any way possible. I make it happen, no matter what it takes, but I make it happen. So he says, oh Arjuna, so you are my devotee. So now I tell you, declare it boldly to the entire world, that those who are righteous, those who are, those who are devoted to me, those who are, very much in devotion with me, those who love me, well, I'm going to give them all protection. So my devotee is never going to perish at all. You go ahead and declare this, so that people know that if my devotee has made any vow on behalf of me, or any statement that has been declared, I'll take care of it. So therefore Krishna says, Kaunteya pratijani name bhakta pranashyati. O Arjuna, you declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. I give my devotee all the protection needed. That's what Krishna is saying. And then we'll go with the final verse of today. That is the summum bonum of this entire Bhagavad Gita. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vashyasi yuktavam atmanam parayanaha. Manmana madbhakto, engage your mind in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me and worship me, being completely absorbed in me, surely you are going to come to me. So this is actually the only verse that is quoted twice by Krishna. This verse we will also hear in 18th chapter, the 65 verse, where Krishna repeats this verse. So this verse is so important. This is not the fault of redundancy. You cannot say that Krishna, he is quoting so many verses, so there is some fault of redundancy. No, it's quoted twice to give the emphasis on this verse, that Krishna says that, how to become a pure devotee. Right now, Krishna is telling this, revealing this confidential knowledge, that how you can become my Ananya Bhakta, by engaging your mind, always thinking of me in whatever we do, always thinking and dedicating as an offering to Krishna all our activities. Then Madhyaji Nam Namaskuru, you should offer obeisances to me. Yes, offering obeisances to Krishna is also very, very important. That whenever we go to temple, we should not miss this chance of offering obeisances to Krishna. Even at home, we should make it a point that whenever we go to our altar, we should offer obeisances. So offering obeisances, worshipping me, and then finally completely absorbed in me, you will become my Ananya Bhakta, and you will come to me to enjoy this eternal life of happiness in Golok Vrindavan. So that's what is Krishna's promise. So life lesson is that Krishna protects from all the accidental sins that we have, and bhakti itself is so purifying, so purifying. It can purify from all our sinful reactions, and we can ultimately establish ourselves into the original dham, the abode of Lord Shri Krishna. So let's do the quick recap. So chapter 9, the acronym was KING, where K stands for knowledge. We dealt about qualification of a recipient, devotee and a friend, and then the nature of this knowledge. And then what is the nature of knowledge? That it is joyful, it is everlasting, and the sins get purified, right? And then I is inconceivable Lord, where we saw the inconceivable qualities of the Lord and inconceivable creations of the Lord, how he maintains, he creates, and he destroys, which is inconceivable to our material perceptions. Then N stands for non-worshipper who neglects Krishna, right? So who neglects Krishna, who accepts Krishna, then Krishna's dealings with all of them, and finally what is their destination or result. And finally the glories, G stands for glories of devotional service, how simplicity of worshipping Krishna is being described, freedom from miseries, and finally the eternal life of happiness. So this was the entire chapter. And before I wind up, I would like to just tell you quickly about the practical application of this 9th chapter, which is chanting Mahamantra. Chanting Mahamantra, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, is the essence. We have to understand this. Satatam Kirtano, Krishna says, right? You have to keep on chanting. So yes, congregational chanting, doing Sankirtan, going on to the streets, doing book distribution, all this is very, very important. But at the same time, we should have some personal time of ours with Krishna, and that can be only possible when we do our japa on the mala. So here we have, I know many of you know about this chanting and are being chanting, but still those who are new, who don't know. So this is the whole beads. We have the whole mala. It has 108 beads, and this is the Vishnu bead we have. So we don't start with this, and we go with the next, right? And we don't touch this index finger, because this finger symbolizes ego. When we point out to others, we are pointing, right? So it shows our false ego. So we don't want this finger to be touched. And we chant on the next round, and we say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And we move on to the next, and then the next, and we try pulling the beat towards our own self, towards our heart, right? And this way we go on chanting. And finally, when we go on and we come back to this Vishnu bead again, right? And we say final Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Then when we go on to the next round, we switch the mala. We don't cross this Vishnu bead, okay? Don't cross this beads, and just switch and go back and then chant again. So this is how we chant. And our acharyas have given many explanations about these beads, but the most important is that these are the 108 gopis who are there with Krishna in Krishna's rasa dance. So this is the entire rasa leela. When we are chanting, we are pleasing each and every gopi to Krishna, and then moving on and on and on and on, and finally coming to the 108th gopi. So in this way we are, or another example is given, that this is the tulsi. We are offering every tulsi leaf at the feet of the lotus feet of Krishna. So there are many things, but the point is that we have to chant so that we can have our personal time with Krishna, and we can be grateful to Krishna while chanting, that yes, whatever is happening in my life is as per your will, Krishna. So please, and the meaning that Prabhupada gives us is that when we chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we says Hare represents the energy of the Supreme Lord. So we are praying, we are Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we are praying to Srimati Radharani that, O energy of the Supreme Lord, O Mother Hare, O Srimati Radharani. Then we say Krishna, O all attractive Lord Shri Krishna. Then we say Rama, O the reservoir of all pleasure. Then we say the entire mantra, and we want to plead them. We want to plead the divine couple, that please engage me into your service. Please engage me into your service. So with every mantra, our eagerness, our prayerful mood should be intensified, where we pray to them that please engage me into your service. So this is how we should chant, and we should focus on the Mahamantra. We should hear this Mahamantra entirely, because everything starts with Tatshrunu, right? Everything starts with the hearing. So we should hear this Mahamantra, and we should have the focus number, some dedicated number of rounds that we should chant every day. So normally Prabhupada says that you should come on to the level of 16 rounds every day, which normally takes 2 hours. So we should try to strive on to that level, that we should chant minimum 16 rounds. Now somebody says, well, I cannot chant 16 rounds at one shot. Yes, we cannot. Then it's fine. You can divide your rounds, maybe 4 in the morning, 4 in the afternoon, 4 in the evening, and 4 while going to your bed. But come to this level of 16, because Prabhupada says that you should chant 16 rounds every day. So don't worry about the quality. Sometimes mind wanders, because in the 6th chapter we have read Chanchalam Manahi Krishna. He says that this mind is so chanchal, So it will go around. Don't worry about that. So first comes the quantity, come to the level of 16 rounds, and slowly when we keep on chanting, naturally chanting itself helps in purifying, right? So the quality will come, but focus on chanting. Come to the level of 16 rounds, those who are not chanting 16 rounds, and those who are not chanting at all, please make it a point to chant few rounds, maybe 2, 4, 8, whatever you can make a commitment, and try to increase those number of rounds, maybe every Ekadashi or any festival day. Just make it a goal to try to increase your rounds, but come to the level of 16. That's make a goal that by this year or this time you will come and you'll chant 16 rounds. And those who are already chanting 16 rounds, try to increase your chanting, because satatam kirtanam, it's not that only 16 you can stop and you can say I'm done with it and I'm okay. Well, that should not be the mood. We should have this mood of chanting 24/7. So maybe we can increase the number of rounds, or we can make it a point that we can chant more attentively. So various ways we can enhance our chanting. So on that note, I'll stop here. So thank you all so much, and thank you for all your consistent and inspiring attendance every Tuesday. I'm really very much inspired and so much indebted and grateful to each and every one of you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Wow, Mataji, thank you so much for such a very deep class. And in this session, you explained all the verses so, I mean, in such great depth, especially 9.2, how you went through it. And at the end, you ended with a very important lesson for all of us, very practical, how we should learn how to chant and what should our mood be. Thank you so much, Mataji, for your time and for teaching us so much. Really grateful to you. I'd like to open the forum for questions. If anyone has any, you can please either put it in the chat, or you can raise your hand or unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Indulekha Mataji. So yeah,
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for the nice lecture. In one of the slides, Mataji, I think it was on indirect worshippers. You had talked about the 3 types of indirect worshippers. So the Vishwato Mukham worshippers, like what is the destiny for, what's the destination for them?
Yeah, good point, Prabhu. Actually, Prabhupada didn't mention, and even Krishna didn't mention in any of the words, but Vishwato Mukham is, they are still entangled into the cycle of birth and death. Why? Because they have this conception of worshipping Krishna in a universal form. So that form, which is not an eternal form, because Krishna, when he shows his Virat Roop to Arjuna, Arjuna says, it will come in the 11th chapter, that Arjuna says, well, I am now totally bewildered by seeing you're such a ferocious, it was not pleasing at all to his heart, because he was seeing all the people devouring in the mouth of Krishna, and so much was going on when he saw this Virat Roop. And then finally he pleaded, oh Krishna, come back to your Shyamasundar form, your two-handed form, and I'm happy to see you there. So there, Krishna says, well, there are people who are connected to me in this universal form, this Vishwarupa Upasana, but this is not my eternal form. This is only my material form. So it will come in detail in the 11th chapter. But right now, as you asked for the destination, yes, because they cannot go beyond this material conception, so definitely their destination is also that they will be entangled into this cycle of birth and death.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Okay, Vrajeshwari Mataji, your question was clear, or do you want any further clarification? If you can unmute yourself, because maybe I'm not able to read properly your question.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. It was
Hello?
breaking, but it's okay now.
Okay, because there is some noise outside. Mataji, I just wanted to ask you, when after once we leave our gross body, the subtle body goes to maybe the upper planets or lower planets according to its karmas. So even when we are, the soul is covered with subtle body, that time also super soul is accompanying.
Yes, super soul always
Yes.
accompanies
Okay.
us. Always
So
accompanies us.
only when we enter into the spiritual planet, super soul, we can directly, I mean, we can directly associate with
Exactly.
Krishna. So that time we don't, I mean, soul does not
No,
carry
that
the
time
super
super
soul,
soul is
right?
not there. That's why Prabhupada mentions that this Paramatma form is also not an eternal form. It's only till the material form. But
Material.
when we go back to Vaikuntha Loka, then our all these subtle bodies itself purified. It has become spiritualized, right? So there, the conception of Paramatma is not there. But yes,
Now then.
whenever we are in this material form, in whichever body, in whichever species, in whichever loka, yes, Paramatma always accompanies us. You are right.
Mataji. And see, when we are in gross body, Krishna says that Sarvasya Hridaya Sannivishta, he is there in Hridaya, I
Yeah.
mean in the heart.
Yes.
So when we are having the subtle body, so we are having only Mano Buddhi Ahankara. So in where actually the super soul exists
Mana.
in our subtle body.
Mana.
Mano.
Yeah.
Okay, man.
So,
Okay, this I wanted to know.
yeah. Yeah.
Mataji.
Thank
Okay, is there any, could you kindly quote any references for this? That way he stays in the Mano, he stays in the subtle body?
So actually, this mind, intelligence, and false ego, that's the only
हाँ
subtle
जी,
body that goes, to the another destination when we leave this gross body.
हाँ,
So at
हाँ,
that time, mana, because see, Sanskrit word, right? So
हाँ
buddhi
जी,
is actually brain.
हाँ,
Buddhi is brain, but mana is connected to the heart, right? Like in Hindi we say, हमारा मन कर रहा है, right? बुद्धि
हम्म,
कुछ और बताती है, but मन कुछ और, like मन कर रहा है,
हाँ
right?
जी,
Because
हाँ जी,
in English there is some, fault of, I can say, some shortage of words. So therefore,
हम्म,
actually, mana is the heart, but we say it as a mind and intelligence, and but mana
हाँ जी,
refers to this heart. So therefore, when this subtle body goes, so Krishna is
हाँ,
always accompanied us through this mana.
okay. So even when we are suffering in the Naraka also, Krishna is witnessing
Yes,
us.
Krishna is there with us every time.
Okay. So even these devatas are also in the subtle form in the other lokas. So Krishna is there with them also as a super soul.
Krishna is there till the time we are in this 14 planetary system. Even up to the point
Okay.
of Brahmaloka, Satyaloka, Krishna is there because this Paramatma form is related to this entire universe. Okay. But
Okay.
when
So
we
then
cross the universe,
Haji.
then the
Okay.
Paramatma,
Then
yeah.
Haji. Sorry.
Yeah, you are right. When we cross over this material existence, universe,
Ha.
then the Paramatma conception is not there. But till the time we are in this universe, in the 14 planetary system, yes, Paramatma is there accompanying us all the time.
Okay. See, devatas and all, demigods and all, they can directly be in touch with Krishna, right? They can directly associate with them. So why do they require super soul?
They require super soul, but they cannot directly come in contact with Krishna. They come to the level of Shirodakshai Vishnu.
Kshirodakashayi Vishnu,
Yeah. Yes,
Paramatma
that is the
only.
Paramatma. That is the Paramatma. Shirodakshai Vishnu is actually the Paramatma in the heart of everybody.
Yes.
So
Haji.
they also have this intelligence and they go to Brahma. They cannot go directly. They go to Brahma, and through Brahma they go and approach Shirodakshai Vishnu, and that too they cannot go too close. It's
Huh?
explained in the Bhagavatam that even when Brahma goes, he only stays till the shore of that milk ocean. And there he
Okay.
meditates. He meditates on Shirodakshai Vishnu. So he meditates
Okay.
on Paramatma, and then Shirodakshai Vishnu, shows his form in that milk ocean where they pleads, that this is what is happening, and they go for some problems and sufferings.
Oh,
They
okay.
basically
Nice.
meditate. There in Srimad Bhagavatam, that even when they go, when Mother Earth, she was tormented by the atheists,
Yes.
she approached
Yes.
in the form of a cow. So Brahma,
Yes.
along with all the demigods, they went at the shore of that milk ocean, and there Brahma meditated in his heart the Paramatma form. And then Shirodakshai Vishnu appeared, and then he said that, I'll come and protect.
Okay, nice to know. And Mataji, we do not actually, being a Vaishnavas, we do not actually worship Vishnu, only because Vishnu's form is there in this material world.
No, Vaishnavas means they worship Vishnu.
So we actually do not worship Vishnu, we worship Krishna, right? So Vishnu belongs to this, the expansion of Krishna, that is from Balram, and the first expansion, what Vishnu comes as a Garbhodakashai Vishnu, Kshirodakashai Vishnu, and Karnodakashai Vishnu. These three forms of Vishnus, they belong to this material world. Okay,
Yes,
so because of that, we do not worship Vishnu.
No, they are Purusha avatars. So Vishnu,
Purusha avatars, yes.
Vishnu, sometimes, the Vaikuntha Nath is also regarded as Vishnu. This Narayan is also regarded as Vishnu. This is a broad term. But actually, Prabhupada says that, yes, you are right, that these Vishnus are the three Vishnu avatars, the Purusha avatars, which are Vishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and Kshirodakshai Vishnu. But we are always focused on Krishna, of Krishna. And we, belonging to Gaudiya Sampradaya, don't even worship Krishna. We worship Srimati Radharani. Because Krishna is related to Srimati Radharani, we worship Krishna. But otherwise, we are focused on Srimati Radharani.
That is true. Mataji, मुझको और एक क्वेश्चन पूछना था, लेकिन that is not related to the today's subject. May I go ahead, or may I wait for another forum?
Let's see if we have another question, and you can always reach out to me. And
how can I, Mataji?
I'm sending you my phone number.
Haji, I'll note it down.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the for an enlightening class. बहुत अच्छा लगा, and you explained all the things very clearly, Mataji. Thank you very much.
All glories to Prabhupada.
Thanks a lot, and all glories to Prabhupada and you. Hare Krishna.
So we have N as raise hand. I don't know your name, Mataji or Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Mataji, I had one question.
Mataji, your name, please.
My name is Neha.
Neha, okay. Yes.
I had only one simple question. The last part of the lecture, you showed the mala, to do the chanting. In the, you said like 108 those gopis. But how do you start with the Panchatattva, or do you say something else also?
Oh yeah, very good point, Mataji. Maybe I forgot to mention that, yes. So yes, we have this mala, but it is said that Krishna Nama, what it says that Krishna Nama say aparadha, like if we perform any aparadha, any offenses towards Krishna, then Krishna do considers those offenses. So we have to be very particular. Then when we chant these rounds, we don't commit any offense, because Krishna Nam kare aparadha. Yeah, because if we perform any offense towards Krishna, Krishna considers. But it says that Gauranam, Gauradham, Gaurarupa Gun. But if we are chanting Gauranga, Mahaprabhu's Nam, then he doesn't consider any offenses. So he makes us free from all those offenses. So before we chant actually this Vishnu bead, before we start doing our mala and chant this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we probably, Prabhupada guides us that we have to chant this Panchatattva mantra first, because when we chant the Panchatattva mantra, we are pleading to Mahaprabhu, to Nityananda Prabhu, to Gadadhar Pandit, to Shivas Thakur, and to Advaita Acharya. We are pleading to them that please forgive us if we commit any offense while chanting this mantra. So this is how, we should first chant this Panchatattva mantra before each and every round. And after completing the round, then also we should chant this Panchatattva mantra. And this Panchatattva mantra is actually, we always recite in the starting of this chapter, that every session, which is Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya. We are pleading to Krishna Chaitanya, who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita is Advaita Acharya. Gadadhar is Gadadhar Pandit. Shivas is Shivas Pandit. Adi, all other Bhakta, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, all the associate of Lord Chaitanya. So we pray to them that whenever we chant this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, please help us that we do not commit any offenses. And if we commit any offense, then please kindly help us to get rid of it. So yes, you are right. I forgot to mention this point, that before starting any round, first we have to chant this Panchatattva mantra, then we should go ahead and chant the whole Maha Mantra, and then after ending, coming back to our last bead, again we have to chant this Panchatattva mantra and then begin the another mala. So this is how we do it. Thank you,
Mataji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anything else?
This Vaikuntha Lok and the Golok Vrindavan. I think it's two different things, right? Or it's same?
Yes, Prabhuji, it's two different things. Golok Vrindavan is where
actually Krishna.
Krishna is enjoying his eternal pastimes in Vraja.
Right.
And it's described that when Krishna, it's just like Prabhupada gives the example of a high court judge. So a high court judge is a judge, then all others are subordinate to that judge. They are in awe and reverence, in respectful mood, right? When the judge comes, everybody bows down, and he is a supreme authority. So that is what the position of Narayan is, in Vaikuntha Loka. He is with his entourage, he is with Lakshmi Devi, and he is the controller of the entire Vaikuntha planets. But when the same High Court judge come back to his home, then there is no honor and reverence, The wife is there, children are there, and the grandchildren will be riding on him. He'll become a dog for
all
his
the pastimes.
so performing all the pastimes. So same Vishnu, same Narayana, when goes back to his family, to his own abode, is what Krishna is, where there is no awe and reverence, and everybody is there with Krishna, having different pastimes with Krishna and relationships with Krishna. So that is the eternal home of Krishna, that is Golok Vrindavan. But then same Krishna, when he comes as Narayan, he has his Vaikuntha planets, where the only mood is Dasya. In Vaikuntha, you cannot have any other mood. In Golok Vrindavan, you can have Dasya, you can have Sakhya, that is friendship, you can have Vasalya, that is parental, then you can have this conjugal, that is Madhurya Rasa. But in Vaikuntha Loka, the only rasa prevails is Dasya Rasa, because there Krishna is like a high court judge, is Narayan. And in Vaikuntha planets, there are many Vaikuntha planets, like those who are attracted to Lord Narsinghadev, they'll go to Narsingha planet, which is in the Vaikuntha planet. Those who are attracted to Varahadev will go to Varahaloka, which is in the Vaikuntha planet. So in that Vaikuntha, there are many innumerous planets also, where the person who is so much attached to a particular form of the Lord, they go to that loka.
So we always target Golok Vrindavan, right?
We
Not
always target to go. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give us. Anarpita charam chirat, that's a famous verse where nothing, which has not been benedicted any time. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming and giving and benedicting us with this Ujjvala Rasa, with this Madhurya Rasa, to develop that relationship with Krishna. And that's what our philosophy is, that establish that sambandha with Krishna. How important it is to establish that sambandha with Krishna, right? That relationship. So that can only be possible when we aspire to go back to his home. Even you just imagine, even this material world, wouldn't it be better if you go and meet that High Court judge in his home? Or it will be better to meet High Court judge in a court. Definitely it will be much pleasing and much blissful that will be if you go and meet him at home, because at home he'll be at his ease and he'll talk to you very personally, right? While in court he has some demeanor and he has some rules, and he cannot put hand on your neck and just say, hi buddy, how are you? But at home he's at his ease. So we are interested in Shama Sundar form of Krishna, where Krishna is at his ease and we can really relate to him and have some relationship with him.
Yeah, because sometimes in ISKCON, some devotees, not in some devotees, I mean, in general also sometimes we say, right, this is Kuntha Jagat, and from this Kuntha Jagat, we have to go to Vaikuntha, like non-Kuntha.
Yeah.
So sometimes we say Vaikuntha, but in general, we always target Golok Vrindavan. So that's why I thought
yes, the spiritual world is actually Vaikuntha. Kuntha means miseries. So the place where there is no misery, Vai means no, Kuntha means misery. So the place where there is no miseries is Vaikuntha. Now this is a broad term. This is the entire spiritual world. Now in this Vaikuntha only, we have so many lokas. We have Ayodhya Dham, we have Mathura Dham, we have Dwarka Dham. So we have Puri Dham, but our goal should be Goloka Vrindavan. But definitely, it's not that those who go to Vaikuntha, to any loka, yes, there will be no miseries and no coming back also. No coming back also. It's an eternal place. Even if you go to any Vaikuntha Dham, it is eternal. No coming back to this material world.
And from there also, yes, sorry.
Go ahead.
So from there also, is there any internal
no, there is no internal. Like if you are fixed in Vaikuntha, it's not that you go to Golok Vrindavan. Then again, there's a big story of actually Gop Kumara in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, where it describes that he goes to Vaikuntha planet, but then again he thought that, oh, this is not the Shama Sundar Gopa form that I was worshipping. Here everybody is bowing down to Narayana, and my Gopa was like a friend. I want to worship my Madan Mohan only. So again he has to come back, and then so there is no internal. But Prabhupada says that if you follow Mahaprabhu, then Mahaprabhu through his Sankirtan party can take you to the entire Vaikuntha planet. So if we can aspire to be one of the associate of, not the associate, but to be the dust of the associate of any pure devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and can join his Sankirtan party, then yes, he can take us anywhere. But otherwise there is no internal transportation.
Oh, I see. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, that clarified. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I have a follow-up question on this. May I?
Yes.
So according to our rasas, we go to the Vaikuntha lokas. According to our rasa, we attain different dhamas in spiritual planet. फिर आप बता रहे थे our aim should be attaining Golok Vrindavan, Golok Dham. So, but we are at present, we all are in Dasya Bhava. So Dasya Bhava, whoever is carrying Dasya Bhava, we all enter into only Vaikuntha Loka. So how should aim to the Goloka then?
Very nice point, Mataji. Yes, right now because we are sadhakas, right? We are
हाँ जी,
aspiring to become a devotee. Right now we cannot, at least myself, I cannot categorize myself to be one of the devotee of Krishna. We are right now
हाँ
in the
जी,
sadhaka stage where we are still following some vidhi, some rules, some regulations, and so even in temple we are worshipping in the dasya bhav. But
हाँ
while
जी,
worshipping, while chanting, while doing devotional service, slowly and gradually, itself, by the mercy of Guru, this our
हाँ जी,
spiritual deha will be revealed to us. The spiritual siddhi, the siddha deha will be revealed to us. And it can take lifetimes. It can take any lifetimes. But the point is that through the mercy of Guru, when we get to know the relationship of Krishna, then we can aspire to have that relationship with them. But right now, we all are in the Dasya Bhav and we should be in that Dasya Bhav. We cannot jump into that thinking, oh, I am, the mother of Krishna, or I am such and such gopi. Well, that's all sahijyas, we cannot jump into any conclusion. But slowly, when we chant, the purity of a chanting and the mercy of Guru will reveal our spiritual destination.
okay.
Okay.
So we have to attain our Swarupa
Yeah,
finally.
we have to attain our Siddha Swarupa, and that can be possible in life in this sadhaka deha only. In this, it's not that when we leave, then it will be revealed. No, in the sadhaka deha only, in this body itself, while we are aspiring, our Siddha Swarup should be revealed to us, and that can only happen when our chanting is pure. If a chanting is not pure, then maybe we'll get another chance and another chance, and that's why I said that it may
Yeah,
take
till it
lifetimes.
matures.
It can take lifetimes, but by the mercy of Guru and the blessing of Lord Shri Krishna and Srimati Radharani, yes, the Swarup is revealed to us, and then we can have that relationship with Krishna. But right now we are all in the Dasya Bhav.
हाँ जी. So ऐसा हो सकता है क्या, like we can also, I mean, attain, like you said, in this material world only we should realize our constitutional position.
Yes.
So ऐसा हो सकता है क्या माता जी?
Yeah, ऐसा हो सकता है. The only thing is our desire should be that strong. हमारी डिज़ायर बहुत स्ट्रांग होनी चाहिए दैट आई वांट टू नो अबाउट, आई वांट टू एस्टैब्लिश दैट रिलेशनशिप विद कृष्णा, एंड दैट कैन ओनली पॉसिबल दैट हाउ प्योरली वी चैंट, हाउ प्योरली वी आर एब्जॉर्ब्ड इन द थॉट्स ऑफ कृष्णा, राइट? So
Can't we be satisfied only with the Dasya Bhava and continue?
of course, if we are satisfied with Dasya Bhav, we can continue with that and then we can end up in Vaikuntha. There is no harm at all. There is no harm. Ultimately, we have achieved the supreme spiritual destination. That's what we
But we will be with Narayana, but not with Krishna.
We can be with Krishna also, because Krishna also has his Dasya. It's not that in the Golok Vrindavan there is no Dasya Bhav. There is Dasya Bhav in Golok Vrindavan also. It's just this Dasya Bhav, this Dasya Rasa is not bereft. Golok Vrindavan is not bereft of this Dasya Rasa. If we are into that Dasya form and this Dasya Bhav, the servitude or relationship, and then we can end up in Golok Vrindavan also. It's not that we cannot. But again, depends what our aspiration is and how much purify we are.
Okay. Thank you very much,
You
Mataji.
can end up in Golok Vrindavan also. Why not?
Oh, great. Nice to know. Thank you very much, Mataji. Thank you once again. Dhanyavad. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay. Arundhati Mataji has a question. Okay, maybe she has left. Okay, anything else? I know today it's been a long time. Oh my God, it's 10:23.
I think Mataji, Neha Mataji also had a question. I don't see her in the call anymore though. Okay. Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. So yes, we can end up, and still anyone has any further question, they can please reach out to me personally and we can take from there. So thank you all so much for your
Mataji.
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, Mataji, to interrupt you. Beautiful class, Mataji. I just wanted to get one thing clear, Mataji. The super soul resides in the heart, right? I mean, that's what you were trying to mean. And you said that when, the soul leaves the body, the super soul travels along with the subtle body. That's what you meant, right?
Yes.
Okay, Mataji, I just wanted to clarify because for some reason, when I was listening, I was getting the idea that he resides in the mind or subtle body or something like that. So I just wanted to clarify.
Super
Thank
soul
you.
accompanies us.
Yeah, he resides. Hridesha Arjuna Tishtati. Yeah,
Yes.
very clearly Krishna states that. So yeah, just I wanted to clarify that one, Mataji. And yeah, there are a few other questions, but I'll just take it offline with you, Mataji. Thank
Sure.
you so much, Mataji, for the beautiful class.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so thank you all so much for your wonderful association. We'll stop here. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhu vayevacha
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो
पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय,
जय।
कीर्तिदा सुंदरी माता जी की जय,
Jai.
all the devotees की जय, Srimad Bhagavad Gita की जय. Thank you all for joining. Thank you so much, Mataji, for your time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Mataji closing the call. Mataji, I have to go.